in the region. But I really do agree with this idea of disrupting the way the Chiefs play the game. And if they want to send multiple people towards the mid lane, if you have something like a Jax, if you have something like a Camille or a Fiora that tears through turrets, even a Trundle that shuts down that tank gameplay that the Chiefs want to play, it really does throw a spanner in the work. And we see Tally do this time and time again beautifully. I mean, he was playing a lot of Graves top. He played Master Yi top against the Chiefs because they just identify that as a win condition they don't want to opt into.
And we touched on this very briefly in the last game as well. We mentioned Chippies. He's known to play champions like
Chippies is awesome. I mean, Chippies is a Fiora, he's a Jax, he's a Aurelia. I'm sure he can play Trundle as well. He's played it in the past. Like, as far as carries go, Chippies is probably one of the best carry top laners in the region.
And he has been doing a good job on these tanks as well. Had a fantastic game 1 on Poppy. Game 2, a little bit lackluster in the laning phase, but still played well.
And that's what I'm interested in. Is he actually comfortable on Poppy, or do they fear Swiper that much that they don't want to give him the best tank in the game? Because there's two ends to this sword. Either you feel like Poppy is great and you can play it, or you feel Poppy's great and you don't want Swiper playing. Because we just saw what he did on Nautilus, who's arguably the 4th best tank in the game at the moment. You give him the best tank, he's going to be able to run away with these games.
Well, we already have some swap-ups in the first pick and ban phase of Champion Select here, as LeBlanc, Kha'Zix, and Zyra will hit the bench again for Direwolves, is what they banned out in game number 1. This time around, though, Chiefs, they adapt. They ban out Ryze on the red side of Summoner's Rift. They still take away the Camille and Rengar, who are almost perma-banned on the red side every single game around the world. Malzahar is going to be the instant lock-in for the Direwolves.
Yeah, and I like the instant lock because we've been talking about the priority put on support champions, and they've just picked the S tier of S tier supports. I mean, we've all seen it around the world at the moment. Malzahar support just absolutely destroys. The Voidling's AI has been like, I wish other AIs in this game had the Voidling AI, because once they get your scent, Fish, they're coming for you. And they hurt. They like tear you apart.
And certainly doing the Malefic Visions just make them hurt so much more, and they just tunnel vision whoever has that debuff. The side of Chiefs, though, again giving Spooks the lead in. This time around, making sure they get that Misfortune pick before the second ban phase.
And the reason Misfortune's so important against things like Voidlings against plants is that Love Tap passive gets rid of them quicker than any other support. So it's no longer 3 auto attacks, it's just 2. You're able to tear that one up. So one more time, I like this pick ban phase coming out of the Chiefs. The Direwolves continue to get strong pick after strong pick.
They certainly do. This time around, they're going to get Elise for Sybil, who has seen some play internationally, and in Korea, they're banning her out quite frequently during the second ban phase. So Sybil's going to pick it up nice and early that it's not banned against him this time around. Again, Chippies is going to be picking up the Poppy heading into the top lane.
And I just really want to pick Chippy's brain about this, because I do think that this is something that they're really going over enthusiastically about. I like the Elise pickup. Sybil, when he's played Elise in the past, is not hard farmed at all. He's been more of, a Moby Boots rush Elise that's able to go to the lanes and really be able to help them out. Now that you've got suppression in the bottom lane, stun through the wall slam in the top lane, that's a lot of area for him to be able to work.
And the last pick coming out from the Chiefs is going to be Jim, but I want to touch on Sybil again there. We've mentioned the Direwolves have picked up a new jungler. It's going to be Schönfire, who's still currently serving a 2-match suspension.
team up with Spooks. He has, as you see, King and Fantix having a little bit of a joke, and Destiny, I think, told his side he carried a focus on the game then. But it's good to see that the Direwolves, you know, a team that we said is prone to being emotional after a loss, you know, young team, haven't played together for a very long time, you know, new to the LAN experience. They look happy. They look focused in. Communication looks clear. Destiny's a great shot caller. He was a coach. He was a player. He's an 80 carry in the past. He's a support. I think that this guy's going to do wonders. I can't speak highly enough of Destiny. I think he's one of the best off-season additions that a team can pick up and see whether he can lead them to Game 3 victory. And
just to stay on the topic of Destiny, my first split in Oceania, listening into the OPL, there was a listen in to one of his team's plays, and Destiny's shot calling was phenomenal to listen to. So adding that addition to the Direwolves has been great. He's been playing support really well so far, and unfortunately, we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty, so there's going to be a short pause here.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on, see if we can get you guys some information about the reason for the pause. However, you know, does add to that little bit of suspense. You know, Chiefs versus Direwolves. Chiefs haven't beaten Direwolves in regular season in a best of 3 in a very long time. All of 2016 went by without a victory. Able to clean them up on LAN. I mean, that's where the Chiefs do excel. No team has been able to go with them in the last couple of years in that regard. But this has been pretty interesting to see the evolution of the Direwolves and the ability to be able to, you know, slowly lift their game. And on a 1v1 level, they go with or better than all of the Chiefs players at the moment. And that's not an insult to the Chiefs. That just speaks volumes to how strong this Direwolves level has become on a mechanical level.
So Chiefs never dropped a game. Never dropped a game to Direwolves when they have been on LAN. Now they're on LAN. Direwolves never drop a game to Chiefs during the regular season. It's the regular season. It's the unstoppable force that's meeting the immovable object here, and it's down to the third and final game. Both teams have a point, but...
See how it ends up. Sybil's just got a little bit of an audio issue, so we're just working through that one at the moment, so that whether we can sort it out. Looks like he's got his headset back on, so that should be all right. Yeah, it's an interesting point, regular season versus like LAN game, isn't it? Because hasn't been that way forever. I give them the camera and they go insane. That's all I'm gonna. They need to pull their head in. Anyway, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how this Game 3 does go, because experience is on side of the Chiefs, with the exception of Rays. They've been in every big game in Oceania.
Yep. And certainly haven't been unstoppable locally. Haven't been performing incredibly well
internationally. Pretty stoppable domestically, internationally, you have to say, you know.
I mean, they qualified for IEM Oakland. That was a big achievement.
They did. I mean, and when you have a look at that IEM qualifier had like Latin American representatives that they hadn't been able to get over the top of in Lion Gaming. It had INTZ there where they were able to go pretty toe-to-toe just after INTZ had knocked off EDG as well at the World Championship, if you don't mind. So they definitely had a good tournament going into IEM. And then being able to go toe-to-toe with Longzhu, a team that is by no stretch of the imagination, you know, bad. Expression up there in the top lane. Swiffle was able to pick up a couple of solo kills in that game. They did fall down, but it was impressive to watch them finally. You felt like they got a little bit of that next step rolling.
It certainly did look like it. But we have been able to resolve the technical difficulties, and we are onto Summoner's Rift for the third and final game of this series, and already there's action, as Destiny was so close to being locked down. He throws out the Voidlings there, but he's able to get away with his life.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you could see that straight away the love tap came out of MF, and she was able to get a lot of it rolling. Swiper gets pushed out. One thing that's interesting to note about Sion, he starts squishier than the other tanks in the top lane because of infinite scaling on his W. He obviously gets health for every minion he kills, becomes a brick by the end of the game. And the way that that's countered is that his base damages are quite high for a tank. So early game, that Q, I mean, it charges up. I think it does like 200 damage, level 1 or something. It does a lot of damage. What I'm trying to say is, at the start of the game, he's great to gank 4 because he does a lot of damage. But he's also quite easy to gank because he's pretty squishy. As the game progresses, he does less and less damage and just becomes... He's literally a train. You're going to see him.
You'll be able to watch him later on. There's that charge on Q. Whew. Chunks out Sybil quite nicely there. Gets the courage of the Colossus proc as well. Goes toe-to-toe against Chippies. You can already see that slap of damage coming out.
Now he's just going to wander away.
Pops his corrupting potion too.
Chippies pops the corrupting potion. Swiper manages to keep his, so he gets a couple of charges against him. He pushes better than Poppy early game as well. As you can see, the big slam comes down. Going to be able to AoE the creeps. This is why Swiper likes it. He can get lane priority or be pushed in on Sion and be relatively safe. So let's continue to track this, because I don't think anyone else in the whole of the OPL is going to put priority on Sion apart from the Chiefs, because their top laner does love it.
We are moving down to the bottom lane. Misfortune is being played as a support here. This was an adaptation that came out from the World Finals. King taking quite a bit of damage from the level 2 power spike that comes out from the Jhin as well as Misfortune. Spooks trying to take red buff away from Sybil.
A little bit slow.
We got to get it. No smite available for the Lee Sin, but Sybil doesn't chase on forward, decides not to face check.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, the Aurelion Sol had cheated out of mid lane. And you don't want to face check that, because you don't know whether he's got smite or not. This is going to be a 3 buff coming out of Spook. So doing what he couldn't last game. Some great damage coming out of Ejim in the support position. Runs mixed damage, sorry, not mixed damage, mixed penetration reds on his Misfortune, and runs AP blues, some CDR in there as well. AP Quint, sorry, CDR blues to get to 10%. So a little bit of an interesting build path, but it means that he hit very hard early game.
Yep, Misfortune is one of those champions. There's a lot of damage early as a support. Is able to poke really well, and then picks up a Black Cleaver later on just to, you know, reduce the resistances of the enemy front line with Rolls.
Ooh, Spooks misses a Q there, which gives the advantage to Sybil. He flashes on top of him.
He's on top of Spooks, taking a lot of damage, smites the red buff for health, flashes over the wall. Sybil can't quite chase through, but that's flash burned on Lee Sin, and he should be able to take the red buff away as well.
Yeah, we'll see whether he's able to, because the Sion is cheating across, wants to be able to start a fight here, and he's still tanking the blue.
Gonna charge up his Q. Good repel coming out from Sybil. Still chasing down towards Swiper, taking a lot of damage. They're still going on towards him. Chippies once again in amongst it. Cuckoo comes out, flashes for it. Chippies goes underneath the turret, but Swiper lives with a sliver of health.
Baited and outsmarted Fish. He lives calculated on, I think, 4 HP, 20 health at the end of it apparently. That was really close. Teleport actually coming out of Swiper now. They really don't want to give up this red buff.
And Sybil doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it. Swiper now chasing down on towards him. Spooks is in the area. Jumps on over towards one of his wards, but First Blood already in the bottom lane. Destiny's been exhausted. Raze and Egypt, they get the heal down. Chancey got towards the Malzahar. He's going to take so much damage. One more tap is all it's going to take here. Flashed forward from Egypt. Going to pick up the double kill.
And double kill picked up from the Chiefs bottom lane. We said that Egypt looked like he was very comfortable. Swiper in some trouble now.
Going to take a lot of damage. Chippy's now chasing on towards the Sion. He's trying to stay away from the walls. Spooks going to come up, misses another Q. Charges up his Q himself. Swiper's going to fall. Goes into his passive. Swiper going to now bash on towards Sybil, but a good wallbang comes out from the Poppy. He's trying to chase on towards the Elise, but that Q coming out was questionable from Spooks there, but still, Sion going to be able to pick up the kill.
Spooks can't land a Q this game. I mean, after having a very good Ivan game, not able to grab it. As we take another look at what happened in the bottom lane, I assume it's just to make it rain into a flash auto here. Yeah, exactly what happened. So Ray's able to pick up the first one. Exhaust came out a little bit too late from Destiny. Of course. Back very new. Also auto attack from the brush. That's a mistake because it gave them the visibility they needed for an auto attack each. There was no ward in there at that stage. Of course, he couldn't know that unless he tracked it very, very closely. So back and forth already at this early stage of the game. 1,000 gold lead to the Chiefs.
It was a big play from Egypt and Raze. The crisp timing and communication from that one allowed them to set that up nicely. You see Egypt's gone back to base, picked up a Ruby Crystal for himself and upgraded his support item, giving him a little bit more gold and damage to kick things off.
That's a little bit aggressive. I mean, not going... If you have enough for an upgrade as well as a Ruby Stone, Ruby Crystal, you have enough for the Sightstone. Rotation into the bottom lane, however.
Swiffer chasing on down. He is level 6. Destiny will be able to block out the stun. Now Swiffer taking so much damage from the Voidlings. They're chasing on towards him. And the Malefic Visions will give him nightmares as Swiffer gets taken down.
Yeah, and that's a rotation coming out. However, he got silenced and didn't expect it. Not able to get the flash off in time. That comes back huge for the Direwolves bottom lane. They're going to be able to pick up a kill and have pretty much a 20 CS mid lane advantage again.
See Fantix here, level 6 on the Corki. You should kill that ward. Yeah, there you go. Wanderzero puts a ward down the Raptor pit first. Has been stuck in the mid lane for quite some time here. But slowly should be able to push back out.
Continually shoving into the turret as well, which against Aurelion Sol, very hard to do. So like what's happening there. You see that Poppy walks down, actually scouts out the enemy jungle as well. So they know that Spooks is on the bottom side thanks to the new plants. What looked one more time to be like all Chiefs on the early game. I mean, 2v2 kill in the bot. Really nice return kill up top after, you know, maybe a misplayed continual invade that they're going for again. Direwolves are hit back hard.
Certainly have. Chiefs are still in the lead by about 500 gold, but that's a very small amount, even though it is still very early in the game. Swift has gone back to base, picked up a Ruby Crystal for himself, as well as the Dark Seal. So looking to get a little bit of extra health regeneration from his Corrupting Potion. Potentially stack up some ability power as well. Sion, top side of the map, not doing too great against Chippies, who was constantly pushing him underneath his turret, about 10 CS behind here. And CBLOL is looking for a dive in the top lane.
But they've cheated top lane so many times. I mean, you could see that Corki was out of vision as well. And what that means is bottom lane, Destiny's in some big trouble.
Kona Cole's going to come out. Destiny's going to be able to dodge the first raise. Can't quite find him. Now Destiny throws out the Voidlings. Egypt going to take a bit of damage, get silenced. Exhausters come down. Spooks is going to get exhausted, but Egypt's still going to be able to pick up the kill.
Spooks needs to start hitting some Lee Sin Qs, however, because he's just a non-factor. I mean, literally walked up and E'd to pick up the assist that time around. Yeah, it looks really shaky at the start of this game, but massive amounts of damage dealt to that bottom turret.
Lots of pressure coming out in the bottom lane too, as Spooks is still looking to try and push and help them out with getting damage on that turret.
So Fish, it took Meteos, what, 60 minutes at Worlds to learn how to play Lee Sin, according to popular opinion? Maybe we start a counter of how long it takes Spooks to learn how to play Lee Sin?
It's 8 minutes 30 here. Still not quite.
Keep you guys posted, however.
We'll keep you guys updated with the Spooks Lee Sin track. Did alright in the first game, after some time.
He actually did. No, he played really well in the first game. I will give him that. He had some really clutch flash kicks as well onto King. Of course, now that King's on Ezreal, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to execute on those, but of course I do say it in jest. Spooks is one of the better Lee Sins in the region. Along with our guest on the desk, Carbon. Seb's a really good Lee Sin as well, I think. I rate Seb's Lee Sin. However, has been spotted out here, and Sybil wants back into his jungle again.
Sybil hasn't been putting too much pressure in the lanes, but has definitely been keeping Spooks occupied in this early game.
Yeah, it certainly has, but what it meant, and like I just want to go back to this, is that they lost the turret so early in the bottom lane. It's only 9 minutes, and that's been down for a couple of minutes now. Gave a BF sword, as well as that Dirk advantage over the Raze. And now they're potentially looking for a dive. They've got the package. So they just continue to counter jungle away Spooks' Raptors and top side of the jungle.
Package is going to expire here for Fnatic shortly. Destiny's actually in this mid lane as well. Not level 6 on Mount Sahara, so does not have the suppression to lock down a single target.
Silence is still really good CC, and it's undervalued a lot. You can't, of course, cast summoner spells while it's happening, so Ghost wouldn't be available. Sucks the orbs in, which gets rid of a lot of the damage. You can see Sion making short work of it, although now Ultimate coming out.
Curtain Course was bullet time going to come out. Raze can't quite find the shots on towards Fnatic. Gets the last one. He's got it curving the bullet, but not quite hitting the straight up shots here.
Yeah, he certainly is. I mean, able to snipe past, and that's really important because it forces Fnatic out of lane, means counter jungling now being opened up for Spooks, as well as that mid lane turret under fire.
King still in the bottom lane farming on his own here. Spooks is able to take red buff away from Sybil.
This is very aggressive, I guess. They've still 3 members on that bottom side of the map. Teleports available from both top lanes. Direwolves know what's going on. Can they react in time? It looks like no.
Thunder Dragon is going to be taken down by the Chiefs. Next one to spawn is going to be a Cloud Dragon. But still big pickup for the Chiefs here. They're 4-2 up. Single turrets and nothing, and the first dragon of the game as well.
And a couple of 1,000 gold lead in favor of the Chiefs, and you feel like that's just a turret, the couple of extra kills, but one more time, this game's balanced on a knife's edge. We've seen Swiper falling behind in CS, but able to pick up a return kill with that passive. So important. Spooks missed a couple of Qs, but has been in the right position around the map and being able to knock down a turret. So really interesting to see. Ooh.
Fnatic's going really aggressive here against Swiftly. He pops his Ghost Flash forward, but can't get the auto attack down. And Blue Suede Shoes comes out from Swiffer to dodge those bombs.
Yeah, one more time calculated. That's the second time, maybe even the third time if you count Chiefs at his Spooks at his red buff early in the game, that they've run away with literally nothing to spare.
Meanwhile, Fancy's going to get kicked back here and locked down, but Spooks takes the brunt of the damage, and Fancy's going to be able to pick up the kill.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's another time that Spooks has missed a Q, but this one's inexcusable, because when you are kicked, you fly in a straight direction. You should not be able to miss that one. Unfortunately, putting on a pretty disappointing performance so far. Great exhaust came out of Fnatic at the same time, and they were able to turn it.
Top of that, Ray's got a long-range snare coming out from his captive audience. Still couldn't hit him with that one as Spooks gets taken down in return. Blew his flash for that one too. Good reaction time coming out from Fantix to try and get the W mid-air. Got knocked back into a more favorable position.
Yeah, certainly did. Now maybe going for a dive on the top side of the map. We've already seen this go awry once with Sybil falling down to the Scion passive. However, looks like they want to commit this time around.
See what Swiper's going to be able to do here. Sybil going to take a lot of damage, repels up into the air, moves the turret aggro on towards Chippies, but now Spooks is here. He does hit the Q this time around, but he's going to get locked down. The Voidlings are absolutely everywhere, and Sybil picks up the kill.
Yeah, really nicely done out of Direwolves, although now Raze wants in.
Destiny going to try and block it. He's good at curving these bullets. Let's see if he can do it once again. They're trying to run away, but Destiny soaks up all of the curtain call damage and barely takes any from it. Egypt still chasing on forward. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Swiffer's in trouble, taking so much. Fantix gets the Sheehan proc, takes down the Dragon in the mid lane.
Yeah, and you could see Swiffer trying to dodge all the skill shots. Very successful, but they were just continually auto-attacking him down. Red buff, very helpful there. And that means that the Chiefs, after being up 1,000 gold, now back within 600, and the individual gold is going over to the key members. Fantix, 2 kills. You know, when you have a look at Sybil, he's picked up another couple for himself. They're starting to hit hard on the Direwolves lineup.
You can see the gold discrepancy that's going in favor of the Chiefs at the moment is coming in from Jin. He's about 1,000 gold up ahead of King. In the mid lane though, Fantix 1,000 up ahead of Swiffer. Top side of the map, it's supposed to jungle fairly even between the two teams. And right now, Direwolves are really fighting back hard. Swiffer going to try and do what he can to clear out this mid lane as Ejim has joined the party. King and Destiny on the bottom side of the map. Looking to push on aggressively towards the turret. King has picked up his tier as well as the Sheen. Ray's gone for the Yomu's Ghostblade once again, has picked up a BS sword though.
Yeah, so all the items starting to roll out for everyone on Summoner's Rift right now. You feel like, you know, the Dragon respawning quite soon could be the next major point of contention. Turret's still standing everywhere for the Chiefs, so their gold lead is very narrow. And you can see that Swiper, even though this is his preferred tank, isn't really faring all that well up in the top lane. See if he continues to struggle as the team fight phases progress. No, but didn't expect this out of the Scion.
Ray's now in the mid lane with Ejim, looking to siege up the mid lane turret. It's already taken quite a beating here. Fantix does have the package though on Corky, so extra movement speed to get him around the map. And a nice long gap closer for the next minute.
Yeah, we'll see whether they're able to, you know, get a pick before the Dragon or something like that to really set himself up for a good mid game. King's been farming up a storm. I mean, after being forced out of the lane a couple of times early, the turret being taken to be within touching distance is pretty impressive. However, now mid lane turret back under siege in reverse.
Jim does get the slowdown towards Fantix, but Spook's not close enough to catch up here.
And what we need to see is how the Chiefs team fight, because they've got a pretty difficult to execute composition versus double AD carry. And has looked like so far Spooks has struggled with some of the execution. You know, Aurelian's Soul is very much about positioning. Jin is very much about positioning. And when you're playing against Poppy, when you're playing against Malzahar, they punish mistakes incredibly well. So they need to make sure that they're not making the same mistakes they did in the first game.
Speaking of Malzahar, he has picked up his boots of mobility. Does have the Sight Stone as well as the Pulse Spray. Fantix going to be able to get away from Ejim here, and he's upgraded his Sight Stone. Got the Boots of Lucidity, looking for the components of a Black Cleaver next to help out the 80 damage dealers on his team.
Yeah, we'll see whether he goes towards Last Whisper, because, you know, they generally have gone for the Mortal Reminder to cut healing, but it doesn't look like there's really all that much unless you count the life steal that's going to come out of the attack damage carries. But continuing to chip away at this turret with their pseudo poke comp. Swiper wants in on the mid lane, but they've rotated top already. Looks like Chiefs might lose 2 here and get pretty much nothing back in return.
Scion, though, is running down the mid lane, does have his ultimate available, and the Curtain Call's been popped too. The charge is going to come in from the Transformer, looking for King, knocks him up, pops the Q as well, and absolutely destroys the Direwolves. CBLOL trying to get into the back lines, but he's going to get locked down as well. The Dragon's there, the Scion's there, and he gets the double kill.
And you see why the Chiefs love this comp. They used to run it with Sivir, so it was even quicker. However, this time around, they get the good shot out of Raze. He's able to continue with the ultimate, and the Chiefs pick up 2 turrets for 1. Chippies can't even join that fight. It's over so quickly.
And meanwhile, as they take down 2 turrets in the mid lane, Spook's already inside the Dragon Pit, looking to pick up the Cloud Dragon for his team. They get 4 kills, 2 turrets, and a Dragon only lose their top lane outer.
Yeah, and you know, on an individual level, the Direwolves look great at the moment. As I keep saying, they even look like they can, you know, surpass the Chiefs in some of the areas. But as far as teamwork goes, this is coordinated. MF starts it up, it goes into the immediate snare, they break the shield, 2-man knock-up, another 2-man knock-up, and then they all peel back without a seconds of hesitation, and they clean up the next kill. Maybe an unnecessary flash, but really credit to Swiper because he got that party started, sacked his top lane turret to be able to influence the rest of the map.
Raze and Egypt are so well coordinated to be able to lock people down with that Make It Rain into the captive audience. Direwolves, they're going to be able to take down the Rift Herald here. As Destiny flash forward, they lock down Swivel before he can get over the wall. Cocoon comes out, as well as the slam from Chippies. It's going to be CBLOL that picks up the kill.
Yeah, that's a lot burnt to pick up the Aurelion Soul. We'll see whether they get anything around the rest of the map. But, you know, sometimes when you have a bad team fight, it's just about picking up that next kill, about moving forward in the game. They lose a little bit of presence on the map. All right, cool. Yeah. You're a fridge, we understand it. Ooh, CBLOL's killed Spook somewhere else. Can we actually watch the real fight that's happening?
Yeah, Raze is also taking down Kings here, but Fantic's going to take a lot of damage from Scion. Yeah, people are dead across the map here, Spawn.
Yeah, so 2 dead versus 1. Obviously, really nice play out of Direwolves. But at the same time, we saw that Swiper not to be messed with right now. We have another look at this. Okay, so Spook's flash kick goes in on King. Really nice escape there out of King. Raze flashes forward to grab it, but only able to trade there.
Seems like a simple trade. You were mentioning earlier that the Chiefs, they're going to have a tough time locking down this double AD carry team comp. But we saw in the mid lane there in that previous fight, no problems in locking down a Corki as well as an Ezreal, even an Unleashed to come in after that.
Yeah, that was a really impressive setup, however. I mean, you had the captive audience into the curtain call, then into the Scion ult, so they really layered their CC perfectly. And once you get hit by one piece of CC, as we saw in the top lane against Swiffer, really is easy to follow up with the rest of it. So certainly take your point about, you know, the fact that it's an Ezreal, the fact that it's a Corki, but it's about dodging that first piece. If they dodge the first piece, they're going to be so squishy, so slippery. They're going to be able to get away. But if they don't, then they die.
Speaking of the Corki and Ezreal, they both picked up their Trinity Force here. Ezreal still stacking that tier. The flip side, Swiffer's got his Hextech GLP, looking for his next item, which should be a Void Sun.
And we're going to see a change up of the builds here. We're going to actually see what looks to be either a rapid fire cannon or a static shiv coming out of the Corki. At this stage in pro play, we generally see the build that was, I think, popularized by Waylist, which is, well, enough of that.
They're fighting first here, Spawn. Each are going to take a lot of damage from those Voidlings. The True Shot Barrage comes out. Good flash coming out from each and will get him away from that damage that should have killed him. Chippy, so he wants to go for the fight here. King's going to get locked down. Swiffer tries to turn back, and Scion's now charging down the rift. The train is not going to stop, and he's got his eyes set on towards Key. He's able to arcade shift out of this one. Direwolves do successfully disengage.
Yeah, the Scion actually just stopped the ultimate. He zoned everyone back. It meant that the Chiefs escaped from what was a bad situation. You can see how well these two teams are playing. The back and forward really hasn't stopped in this third deciding game. What I was trying to say, I'll say it much quicker this time. Generally, you see Corkis go towards a Gunblade. He's not going to Gunblade, he's going towards an attack speed item.
Fantic's mixing things up here. Not going to have as much lifesteal and as well as health, getting health back from his abilities.
Because you get health back from everything you use on a Gunblade at the moment, just means that Corki, if you don't blow him up, turns around and does this and gets all of his health back.
Swiper trying to run away here. CBLOL trying to hunt him down. That Cloud Dragon making him move a little bit too quick, but meanwhile, they've taken down Destiny. Swiper going to go flash off
that's
forward.
huge.
Throws out the Q, locks them all down. Big ultimate come out from Aurelion Soul. Fantic falls. Chippies is the next target, and Chiefs get 3 quick and swift kills.
And maybe the Chiefs will turn this Scion into a permaban, because right now, Swiper is just able to start up teamfight after teamfight, and they can't get away from the guy. And he's so tanky that Baron is available at 22 minutes into the game.
And they're going straight for that Baron. Spirit's already on top of it. Swiper's going to be able to tank this one up nice and easy. Sybil looking to see if he can get something cheeky going on here. Try and steal this one away. Kurtikal's going to come out. Swiffer now going to try and hunt him down. Good side steps coming out from Sybil to get himself back to safety.
They're doing the dosey though. He's going to be able to get into the pit if he wants.
Let's see if he can. Swiffer on the other side, still looking to try and get damage down. That's a lot of damage coming out from Sybil. They just stopped the Baron for a while. He's going to try and take that explosive blind over, but gets taken down. Destiny though, he's been able to take down Ray. Suddenly there's a teleport coming in from Chippies as well. Sybil's been able to buy a lot of time for his team, and they stopped them from taking the Baron.
And maybe the Chiefs just, you know, mucking around with the chasing the jungler for too long because it meant that all the damage stopped. And now Swiper's being chased.
Saucer's going to come down. The Voidlings are chasing on forward. Silence comes out too. Spook's going to have to kick Chippy's back. He's still charging on forward. Egypt now taking a lot of damage there. The hammer gets slammed down and a double kill comes out from King. Almost the triple as Swiper's recall gets cancelled as well. Chippy's still taking at the turret. He doesn't care too much. The Dragon's chasing up now, but the package is delivered as Fantix gets up into the top lane. And the Direwolves capitalize on a Baron throw from the Chiefs.
And the Chiefs just a brain fade. I mean, why is Swiffer trying to fight 1v3? They lose the turret. It's back within 1,800 gold, and the Direwolves just turn it on. This series was in the balance, and they snatch it back from the brink, now starting up their own Baron.
Let's see if Swiper can do what Sybil was able to do and delay this Baron. He's going in towards the pit. Lots of low health bars. He just gets knocked out immediately. Ray's trying to do what he can.
Doesn't have ultimate.
Baron's down to 1,000 health. Sybil's fighting this one away. Direwolves, they tie up the goal lead. They've got Baron buff. Swiper still looking to try and go in. Chasing on towards Sybil. Kurtikal comes out, splits the wickets. Sybil hides in a little cave inside of the blue buff as the Q comes out, but Sybil jumps straight on towards the side. Takes a lot of damage, but big bullet time coming out from Egypt. Will be able to take down Fantix. Sybil and King live to fight another day.
So they get the Baron, they give up one kill. Huge net profit for the Direwolves right now. They are right back within this game. And you can see that their carriers go back. They get a rapid fire cannon. Evolution coming out of King right now onto that tier item as well. Such impressive, decisive call. You know, have to credit it probably towards Destiny, but Sybil just playing out of his mind, dancing around this Chiefs lineup.
It wasn't so much about stealing that Baron, it was just stopping Chiefs, delaying them long enough for the rest of the team members to get there and disrupt them inside of that pit. Chiefs still continue to take down Dragons here. Ocean Dragon's the third Dragon to fall for them in this game. They have 3 turrets to 2, and it's 14-11 in kills, but the gold is almost dead even between these two teams.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they've got so much more standing, I mean, and easy access to it. You see an outer here, there's still the you know, ability to push up mid lane, take the tier 2 there that's already gone on their side. With Baron, this all becomes so much easier.
Chippies has got the glimmer of the Void buff as well from taking down Rift Hero earlier, so these turrets fall so easy. It allows him to split push so much better. The Baron buff is just going to allow them to keep taking these objectives. You see King moving towards the top side of the map. Fantix still in this mid lane. He does not have the Baron buff for himself, so we'll be pushing out a little bit slower. The rest of the team make their way towards the top side of the map.
Yeah, certainly do. And you know, you see turrets tied up, score pretty much tied up as well now for the Direwolves, 11-14.
Swift Freeze will take down that mid lane turret as well, left on about 200 health.
I don't even know if it has to be Swift. I mean, eventually it's going to corrode. What with global warming and all that.
That's a myth, Swan, apparently, confirmed today.
Really? All right, if you say so, mate.
No, I do not think that's true.
But you can see that right now there's just priority all around the map. They're going to push into this middle lane turret. As soon as anyone with a Byron buff shows up, that one's going down. Actually, he's dead. Raze
has been flashed on here by Destiny. The suppression is just too much for him to handle. No Quicksilver Sash for the AD carry. And now Direwolves pushing on towards the mid lane, inner turret, 1,000 gold up, still have Baron buff. Top lane and bottom lane both pushing for their team as well.
And you have to question what was Raze doing there. I mean, he just had no right being on that part of the map. It's going to cost his team pretty big right now as, you know, 2 turrets being pressured. It looks like they're going to fall down.
Bottom lane inner turret is going to fall. Now Direwolves, only 1 inner turret left for them to take, which is in the mid lane. Raze only back up in 7 seconds. He's poking away at the Chiefs in the back line, constantly hitting those mystic shots to chunk out a little bit of health every single time.
Now a 2,000 gold lead for the Direwolves. You feel if the Chiefs don't fight soon, this game's going to fall further and further out of reach. 3,000 gold make that as another turret falls. They went from being 2 turrets behind Fish to now being 3 turrets in the lead. That is a huge gold swing.
Big swing coming off that one play over at Baron, where Chiefs looked like they were about to break the game wide open off the back of 4 kills into what was going to be a Baron buff. Now Direwolves in firm control of this game. Baron buff has expired. It'll be another 3 minutes or so before that is back up on Summoner's Rift.
And you feel like this is the first lull we've had in really 8 minutes of gameplay. I mean, both teams go back. Huge items being picked up right now. You know, Blade of the Ruined King started there for King. You know, Fantix going towards what looks to be a more of Malmortius. That Hex Drink already picked up. Iceborne Gauntlet finish for the Poppy. She's going to be invincible. And continuing to just pick up side lane farm. And unless the Chiefs can really get that 5v5 teamfight, that great initiation out of the Scion, as we've seen time and time again, this becomes a really tough game to win.
As you mentioned earlier, Spawn, Scion is starting to become that brick, approaching 3,000 health. Has a Guardian Angel as well, so if you thought his passive was annoying, he's going to come back to life a couple of times in these team fights.
Yeah, it certainly is, but you know, when you have a look at the Direwolves, Fantix has picked up the package, he's ready to start some fights. They can play 3 lanes continually, and they're not giving that big opportunity for the Chiefs to just run it down one lane and start the 5v5, because someone has to deal with chippies. Otherwise, he's going to take turrets. He's picked up the Iceborne Gauntlet much earlier in this game.
King and Fantix constantly poking out champions underneath the turret, the inhibitor turret in the bottom lane here. With the rockets, with the mystic shots. You see in the bottom left-hand side of your screen as well, Chippies is still split pushing on the top side of the map. Still has his Glimmer of the Void buff, so will still chunk away these turrets every time he can get an auto attack down. In fact, the Swiper that's sent up there to deal with him. Spooks and Swiffer taking quite a bit of damage from Cyril there. He has a Landry's Torment on his Elise, looking for a Void Staff next as well.
Yeah, it looks to be the case. Maybe even going towards a Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Of course, that builds out of the Blasting one now instead of the Needlessly Large Rod. You can see that Swiffer, he's sitting on 4 items as well. He's no slouch, but they need a way into the fight. And if they just keep split pushing here, the Direwolves, the Chiefs are never going to get that opportunity. And double 80 carry just scales so well, especially when it's something like a Corki that has a mixed damage.
Oof. So much pro coming out from the Direwolf squad here. And no real way for the Chiefs to deal with it. Constantly poking out, constantly chipping them down.
You have heart attacks every time a player does that. You know, Arcane shifts over a wall. It's on cooldown for only a couple of seconds at this stage of the game, but it's still one of those things where if anyone is there, able to blow him up. They're looking for potentially a play on the top side of the map. Ejim's streaming towards that Baron.
Puts a ward down 50 seconds before Baron comes back up. Another Dragon will spawn in 30 seconds as well. Chiefs in control of the entire game and see if they can continue to do so. Spooks
is caught.
He's been caught out, has to flash away. Ward jumps as well. Chippy charges on forward on top of Swiper. The rest of the Direwolves now making their way towards the top side of the map.
But Flash Kick not available now. So that is a huge thing for this Baron team fight that you expect is right around the corner. Chiefs is just getting caught out on the top side of the map when Ejim was trying to ward, secure that vision. Direwolves have really punished well this game. You have to say that the Chiefs certainly had firm control, but ever since they gave it back over the Direwolves have been unrelenting with their pressure. They haven't let Tier 1 top lane fall down yet, haven't let any of the waves push out against them. It's now slow push finally in the bottom lane, but the Chiefs struggling for any room at all.
See big items being picked up by the Direwolves as well. King's going back to base. That should be his Mirror Mana completed as well as the Blade of the Ruined King. This is a big power spike for Ezreal, especially since he has that last Whisper. Rylai's being picked up by Sybil. Fantix in the mid lane. He's got his Rapid Fire Cannon as well as that more of Malmortius. This is a strong Direwolves roster with big items being picked up.
Yeah, it certainly is. And when you have a look at it, it just looks like they're a little bit more ready right now. Even a BF sword being picked up by Fantix at the moment. So he's well and truly ready to fight at this stage of the game. If he turns that into an Infinity Edge, the mixed damage that comes out of Corki is pretty scary to deal with. And you just don't know whether the Chiefs have that positioning that they showed in the early game, the ability to layer the CC perfectly. Because they look like they were executing on it, but for the last 10 minutes, there's been nothing. No signs of that at all. It's been all Direwolves.
See Fantix jumping away from Swiper there, pops the ultimate trying to catch on towards the Corki, so big ultimate being used there by the Chiefs. Both
Swiper
Baron
just
and
can't
Dragon
be
are
the
up.
first one in. I mean, it's that simple. Arcane Shift, the Valkyrie, it's way too easy to get away from the huge Scion. It needs to be, you know, as we keep saying, the captive audience. Has to be Make It Rain into captive audience, or Swiffer setting up a really nice ultimate on Aurelion Sol.
I see Swiffer moving out towards the top side of the map, has to deal with the wave being pushed up there. King, as well as Sybil, they started on this Baron, taking so much damage. Ejim trying to get some damage down on towards the Direwolves squad. They do back away once it hits about half health, but that's 2 wards already being taken away. Ejim will be able to take away the control ward, put one down over the pit for his team.
Yeah, but they still have positioning bottom lane. They're still being nice and patient. Flash is available for Destiny right now. That turret's nearly gone. One more time Swiper leaves, it's dead.
Chippy's almost has his ZZ Rock portal as well. Once he picks that up, he's going to be an even bigger split pushing monster.
And you can see right now, they're looking for that pick that I keep talking about. Destiny really flirting with danger here though.
Sybil's got to be really careful. Good repel coming out from Sybil. Gets him away from the Sonic Wave thrown out by Spooks.
That damage that came out of Sybil though. He nearly one-shot Ejim before going over the wall. If he had have used any of his abilities in Spider form, probably would have been able to get it done.
Now Multimum is going to head back to base here on both the Chiefs and Direwolves squad. Still has Chippy pushing the bottom side of the map. Both him and Swiper have teleport. Swiper's ultimate is up as well. It seems like Direwolves are going to be able to pick up their first dragon of the game. The Ocean Dragon shall fall on King. Still gets it.
Just wanted the sale points, mate. Never in doubt. Never in doubt.
And still a big Baron dance going on between these two teams. It's constantly split pushing as Chippies. That turret is so low.
He has to hold it off the turret right now. I mean, you can see that Chippies knows that as well.
Glimmer of the Void buff dealing some good damage onto that turret every time he has the range auto attack.
Yeah, he's going in for it, and that might be a window for the Chiefs to come in.
Well, let's see what can happen here. Swift, Chippy's going to take a bit of damage, dodges out the stun. Swiper still chasing him forward, pops his ultimate.
They need to kill him right now, because otherwise they're just going to give away a Baron for free.
He doesn't get the knock-up. Will knock Swiffer back as Swiper does get the knock-up. The Aurelion Sol is coming back in, but Direwolves, they haven't started on the Baron. Good flash coming up from Chippies over the fat part of the wall. We'll get him back to safety. But Direwolves still yet to start this Baron.
Yeah,
now
but now they started up, but it might be too late because they were waiting to see what the commitment level of the Chiefs were like. Fantix puts in some good poke damage.
Spooks gets knocked down. Destiny flashes over the wall. Fantix picks up that kill. No smite available for the Chiefs. Here comes the Kurdo Core. He's curved the bullet once before, but Fantix is on top of him. Puts the exhaust down. Gets that proc for the Trinity Force. Egypt tries to go for the steal. He will get taken down, but he will steal the Baron as well. Only one member left from the side of the Chiefs. It's just Swiper, but it's still 4 kills coming up for the Direwolves.
An absolute mayhem on Summoner's Rift. King goes down. Sybil goes down. But at the same time, Swiffer fell. Raze loses the 1v1 against Fantix. And the Chiefs, they have the Baron buff on the Scion, but everything else seems to be against them right now.
But the Baron buff is going to help them out. It's 3,000 gold difference 35 minutes into the game. It's even in kills. 3 turrets to 6 in favor of the Direwolves here. And they live to fight another day, Spawn.
They certainly live to fight another day. There is that. Let's take another look. Spooks caught in no man's land. Great flash engage out there. Ejim does the right thing, flashes away, but Fantix challenges Raze to that one-on-one duel, exhausts him, able to pick it up. Ejim picks up the first kill there against Sybil, takes a second kill at the Baron. That is a hero play if I have ever seen one, Fish.
Ejim puts the team on his back. Look at his items as well, Swan. He's got 7 kills on Misfortune. He's got the Black Cleaver, the Mortal Reminder, even a Beer Sword being picked up. And he's done it again. Destiny's going to fall. Spooks picks up that kill, knocks away Fantix, tries to throw out the big one, can't quite find it. Swiper now looking for the knock-up, not going to get it due to the Valkyrie to get away. But Chippy's has got other things on his mind, Swan. He's in the top lane looking to get some damage on these turrets.
And they've stopped. No, just missed the back out of Spooks there. They're now chasing the Poppy. Don't think that's a good idea. Just pick up the Zerat. Oh, this game is in the balance. The Direwolves, you almost feel like they deserve it at this point. They've put in so much work, Fish. But the Chiefs just never saying die. Now potentially Swiffer caught out, forced off the blue.
This is lining up to be a nail-biter of a finish.
What an opening of the season.
Chiefs versus Direwolves, rematch of the semifinals, last split. Going to game 3, going to the late game as well.
I mean, pretty soon, items don't matter. You can see most of the carries on 5 at the moment. Ooh, King maybe caught out a little bit. Needs to be careful.
It's going to arcane shift away. Has to
Flash.
flash away from the
Ooh, Raze has been caught.
CBLOL going to try and go for it. The exhaust does come out. Raze will get jumped on by Spooks, giving a little bit of extra help. Egypt's going to fall. Fantix snipes him off in the back lines. Now Chippy's, he's got the fight. Destiny will fall. Swiper procs his Guardian's Angel. Fantix gets knocked back into the team. Spooks, 37 minutes in. He can play Elite Sin now. But King trying to do what he can against Swiper. Swiper falls. Now looking for Swiffer. The stun comes through. Spooks goes in, but King will still lift the tail to tail. Chippy's still trying to chase him down, but Raze just does so much damage. It's a one-on-one to tell the world here, as he's going to get the wall slams down the hammer. Oh my goodness, Chippy's gets the outplay.
And we just keep saying it. Why do you walk next to walls against Poppy? Able to set up another one. He had priority over the mid lane, probably could have tried to push the turret, but the Dire will pick up a clutch teamfight victory. This game is so close.
Oh my goodness, we can look at that one more time here, Sport.
So King gets caught out, has to burn his flash at the start, but the priority onto Raze gets the exhaust out, and it means that on the back end, they're just able to do so much damage. Ejim gets blown up by Fantix at the same time, bursts down. Destiny, unfortunately, gets caught up. And this kick probably saved the team fight, because it knocks the Corki sideways into Raze, and oh, it was so close. It came down to the wire. Even the Scion passive was useful. I mean, able to just swing a couple of haymakers at the Ezreal. Otherwise, that would have been good night. And, oh, after all the outplays that happened, it wouldn't be a team fight without one more. I mean, if you just step forward a little bit, that doesn't stun, you win the duel. But instead, Chippy's nails him, lays down the hammer, and it is the Direwolves walking away with it. Wonder if that's the tale of the game.
This time it's Chippy's that gets the left-right good night spawn, but it's dead even between these two teams. Gold is almost becoming irrelevant. Ejim is slowly picking up 80 carry items here. He's going to become a big misfortune. 8-3-8. He's got the most kills on his team.
He's huge. I mean, as far as damage goes, he's a monster. Destiny's been great with his ultimates, you have to say that. Definitely coming into his own as a support, but I think Ejim's enjoying the meta, shall we say right now.
This is where he turns to Raze and says, I'm the AD carry, you
Look at
support
me.
me.
Yeah, I am the AD carry now. Yeah, if he gets an Infinity Edge or something like that, going to be very interesting. Although Dragon Elder spawning. Chiefs nowhere near to contest it.
And Direwolves kick it off immediately. Chiefs running down the river, trying to get towards it. Already at half health, chipping away at this one. King is here as well. That Elder Dragon is going to fall. They only have one Dragon to buff, but it's still going to help them out in these fights. CBLOL, though, taking a chunk of damage. Kernagor going to come out, slows down multiple members. Swiper charging in. Big bullet time coming out from Ejim. Allows Raze to get the snipe.
Raze is under fire at the same time. Chippy's is there.
He's eating up as much fruit as possible, trying to stay alive. Jumps on top of Spooks. He's going to get taken down. Raze gets the shutdown. Chiefs, they fight through it. Elder Dragon Direwolves.
And you just have to say that these long-range ultimates of the misfortune of the Jhin are tearing them apart. If they ever get in range, they win the team fight. But if the Chiefs get to set up like that, if they know where they're going to be, they're able to get their man. Elder Dragon picked up. Chiefs, however, have 2 extra members streaming down mid lane.
And as soon as Ejim, he gets a couple of procs off of that ultimate, that's the Black Cleaver ticking and ticking, allowing Raze to get so much damage out. Destiny, he's been locked down, kicked into the snare. The stun comes out from Swiffer. They're chasing on towards the Nexus here, Spawn. Chiefs might be able to knock down the Direwolves.
We'll see if they're going to be able to. There's 40 seconds on a member, 20 on the other. It looks like they're just going to back out. So much standing gold still left on the map, and the top turret is actually falling down. If Swiper doesn't get there in time, it's just going to be an inhib turret for inhib turret trade.
And that's going to fall. The turret is going down really quickly here. Chiefs to get the inhibitor in that mid lane, so super minions will slowly start to spawn. That's a massive minion wave. That turret should be falling down.
It's gone. And that's on the shorter side of the map for the Direwolves right now. I mean, their top lane tier 1 is still available. Baron's up in 35 seconds. They're going to be able to pick up the Scuttle Crab. And the Chiefs, even though they got the mid lane, that's the easiest to defend if you're the Direwolves. You walk into mid, you push out, you clear vision, you rinse and repeat. Whether that's with super creeps or normal creep, doesn't really matter to double AD carry at this stage of the game.
Guardian Angel is down on Spooks and Swiffer. Chippies has finally picked up his own CBLOL. He's got a Void Staff now on this Elise. 1 item away from completion.
And I actually agree with the build because both Misfortune and Jhin go into setup damage. And that means that there are windows where Sybil can actually assassinate them. This is legitimately a comp where assassination can take place out of that champion. Wondering why Swift is back down here, even though Baron spawned. That's an interesting call, although he's chasing Chippies.
Doing a lot of damage to Chippy as well. He's missed his ultimate, does get that charge down, puts down the hammer, picks up a shield. Now wants to try and take the fight to Swiffer
Swiffer's gonna have to
inside.
ult.
He's inside of his passive. Swiffer still trying to run away. Does have a lot of magic penetration on this Aurelion Soul. Is able to go toe-to-toe against Chippies.
Yeah, it can, but Swiper's being caught now.
He's going to get locked down. Will he pop the Guardian Angel that just came back off of cooldown? Chippy, sorry, is moving in to try and get in amongst the action. Aurelion Soul joining the fight too. Pretty low on health. Swiper will get locked down once again. The rest of Chiefs now trying to run back. Ray still trying to lock someone down. Fantic's already been knocked by that Q from Lee Sin. No follow-up coming out from Spooks. Ejim still chasing on through, but both teams just disengaged.
Yeah, so just the GA burnt on Swiper as well as the teleport, which means that all of a sudden they can get towards the bottom lane. Teleport actually coming out now, and the Baron's being started up.
King is incredibly low on health. Aurelion Soul gets a lot of damage down on towards him. He's going to back out of this one. Destiny's the first target. Spooks is going to be able to pick up the kill.
Two members gone.
He's still trying to kite backwards, but Swiper finds him, smacks him with the Q, flashes forward. Sunfire Cake to pick up the kill. Now Fancy has been jumped on by Spooks.
He
Not
missed the
going to
Q.
land the Q, but it's still going to be raised and follows up. Flashes forward, throws his revolver in the air. He picks up another one, and 3 members of Direwolves have been taken down.
And you have to think that's the game, because it is only the jungle and the top laner left available for the Direwolves. The Chiefs have all their members remaining and a creep wave in mid. Looks like they're going to finally do it, but that was way closer than most people expected.
It certainly is. I mean, they're still at a gold deficit here, Spawn. 80,000 to 78. They're now pushing on towards the Nexus. First turret going to be taken down here by the Chiefs. Chippy's doing whatever he can to stop this. Sybil's coming through as well. Chippies will get taken down. Raze is going to be able to lock him down, but he moves straight back towards the Nexus turrets. The rest of the team slowly respawning. They lock down Raze. He's going to get taken down. Bullet time comes out from Egypt. He's dealing a ton of damage here. And that Nexus is slowly falling down. Can they stop them? The answer is no, they can't. And Chiefs will pick up the 2-1 victory.
And what a series to open the OPL for 2017. I mean, what was a 3-0 semi-final in this very studio has now turned into a 2-1 nail-biter. And look, they're smiling on the cameras, but that one was all Direwolves for a good 15 minutes of the mid-game.
Oh my goodness, that was a fantastic game to watch as well.
And you have to take your hats off to the Direwolves.
Yep.
I mean, they look dejected right now. This is a team recently back from boot camp, haven't been scrimming all that much to our knowledge since they've been back. And as I said, they're going up against the defending champions, and honestly, they should have won it in the mid-game. That was such a close game.
It certainly was. We saw Direwolves fight really hard there. Almost took it to the Chiefs, but Chiefs fought back strong as well, and they're able to pick up the Game 3 victory. That's all from us for now. We're throwing it back to the analyst desk.
Well, thank you, Fish. Thank you, Spawn. Oh my goodness, this is the opening series to 2017's OPL. Carbon, Mendrix. I mean, what does this say about the rest of the?
What a saga!
What
What
a
an
saga.
absolute saga! Unbelievable game.
Look at the handshakes here as well.
It was incredible the whole way through. I mean, just so much quality, and the ending fights there had just so much in it. There's so much content that they just gave to us. It was amazing.
There were so many small micro interactions happening in that game and if any number of them went the opposite way, the whole series would have been different, possibly the whole season.
Because we were upstairs watching it, and a couple of times you were like, all right, next Baron is going to win. And then we were like, all right,
next team fight wins, guys. All right, we have to go down soon because next team fight wins. Like 10 team fights later.
Back and forth and back and forth.
And can we just say, Ejim, holy moly, that was actually unbelievable. I was screaming. I could not believe it. I could not believe what I was seeing. It was so stupid. It was so dumb.
I mean, because we're used to seeing the MF pick as a counter pick, right?
Yeah,
and now
to
we're seeing it as that long range ulti is using for Baron steals and double kills.
I mean,
apparently.
I maybe have to apologize a little bit because I hate MF support. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it when you pick it on my team in solo queue. It makes me incredibly mad. Last time I got eGym, he went 0-14, and he was laughing in team chat about MF support. But now he's stolen Baron, so I have to apologize. Sorry to all the MF support mains out there that I flamed in solo queue. It's all been worth it.
Oh my goodness! All right, well, Mendrix, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, Chiefs taking this series 2-1. You thought the Direwolves were going to take it.
I was for a good moment there. I was literally sitting there like, well, you know, it looks like they've won this game. Like Spawn touched on those 15 minutes where they seemed so strong. I was like, sweet, the Warriors, it's going to happen. Just watch Chiefs now just turn this around somehow, and they did. I was like, wow.
Well, let's take a look at this first replay, which you wanted to bring up. I think it's going to come up on the screen any second now.
So this is the first two kills coming through for the Chiefs, and this is just sort of showing their strengths of their team, having this MF and Jhin combination, and the MF doing so much work throughout the rest of this series, as you can see, getting that Baron still beforehand, and it's just such an oppressive lane to deal with. It is so strong in its own right, and also to start up those initiations, and it really is sort of the big thing that started the next major team fight that they had as well.
The bot lane was definitely the catalyst for the Chiefs this game. The mid lane went 0-2-0. Spooks couldn't hit a Q to save his life or save his teammates' lives in a number of instances. The Sion was doing serviceably, but you know he wasn't about to carry. But their bot lane, both MF and Jhin, played incredibly well.
I mean, so it's Raze stepping up from game 1 into game 2 and game 3, really playing a lot better.
Yeah, it's a really nice progression for him. I think game 1 maybe he had a bit of nerves, but from game 1 to 3,
settled.
Played progressively much better.
Well, let's take a look at the second replay, shall we, Mendrix?
Definitely. So it's coming into it now, as you can see. This is when you have the Jhin and the Misfortune combination coming through, and it just sets up the rest of the team fight as it comes through. Sion just comes through, pummels everyone through, and it's just such a great layering of CC and AoE damage that from the Chiefs composition that they just absolutely obliterate them off the map, and then they're able to get 2 turrets off the end of that, which is just amazing.
We saw that Direwolves were trying to ban at that Sion in earlier games, and they let it through this time, and were they punished for it, or was it just kind of like playing as you'd expect?
Well, I mean, he played. I can't keep a straight face because he's in the room now. But he played well in game 2 as well, and you have to think that maybe the third game it did warrant a ban, but I mean. Yeah, I mean in that clip, yes, like the pain train had no brakes, but I think that their bot lane had a lot to do with their victory.
Yeah, so you think it's that Raze stepping up, and let's talk about Swiper there, player of the series, which we're calling the Radiant Medal.
The Radiant Medal
after obviously.
Derek
Credit Trang.
Yeah.
Look at that, Swiper.
Well done,
Best
Swippy.
and fairest.
Well done.
Big Swips.
Got a very big grin right now.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Should we? I think we're about to hear from. Nope. Okay. Well, we've got one more replay to go as well. Mendrix, let's go to that right now and finish up this analysis of the series. If we bring that up.
So we're going into this team fight here, and this is basically the Direwolves sort of just coming a little bit too deep here and just allowing everyone to come through and clean up afterwards. And
this is the big Baron throw.
Just a bit of big Baron throw. Yeah, here we go. So this is the extended replay that we were talking about beforehand. And this is, so I found myself.
Okay.
So what's happened here is that they've managed to get a really good pick by the Chiefs here. They've got the pick. They're like, sweet, we're feeling great. We're feeling amazing. Let's make our way towards the Baron. Then they end up chasing Elise around a little bit too much. This buys a lot of time for the rest of the Direwolves to get back into the game, and then it's just crazy. So I think we can actually speed it up from here.
I mean, both damage dealers peel off the Baron right now. For what? For no reason. I mean, Lee has kick, really. They have to put a little bit of... I mean, I know he had like a 10% hit ratio on his Q, but you have to put a little bit of faith in your jungler to be able to either outsmite or kick him. I mean, you can't have both your carries just walk away from the Baron and have the rest of them just getting pummeled by this by the giant worm.
Incredible there. And then now you can see here, everything just sort of starts to fall apart for the Chiefs. Direwolves are just able to make their way into it, sort of push everyone out. And this fight continues. They continue to chase them down the whole way through. There seems to be some good back and forth between the rest of the team, but then this is just amazing ultimate from King afterwards. It actually manages to pick up a double kill coming on through soon here. So soon it's going to be popping through. Chip is just causing so much damage. Here comes the Arcane Barrage. Absolutely takes him out. Almost gets a triple, like you said there, Carbon. And this is what really put the Direwolves back into the game, just created this amazing saga afterwards.
Yeah, but this is at 15 minutes in the mid-game where you're saying the Direwolves maybe should have won that. Obviously, didn't work out that way. So
yeah, look, that did set up a period of control for the Wolves. They were definitely choking the Chiefs out. They had a lot of deep vision. The Chiefs players got picked a number of times. We saw Rays get picked mid with a flash Malzalt. We saw Spooks lose his flash at Golems from Poppy. So a lot of control was given to the Direwolves through that, but to be honest, I mean, Chiefs should have just finished that Baron and probably closed the game out after that point.
Well, all right. Well, let's speak to one of the victorious players themselves right now. Jake is standing by with Swiper. Let's hand it over to him.
Thanks so much, Hingers. I am, of course, standing alongside the victorious Swiper, who got the 3 points for the Derek Radier Trang medal. Of course, that is our new Best and Fairest, or MVP award, named after Radier, who was one of your teammates, a very good player. Yeah. Before I get into how you guys won the series, however, I want to take a step back because, 3-0 victory over the Direwolves in last year's semi-final, coming in pretty confident this game. However, Direwolves surprised you guys. You said they played pretty well.
Yeah, I honestly expected them not to play that well, like, as a team, because, like, their Korean bootcamp was good and all, but from what we heard, it was, like, really solid individually that, like, they were trying to improve on, which we thought didn't really make any sense because they already had strong individual players. But, like, obviously, Schoenfei's been good and, like, a lot of help to them, and he's probably cleaned up their macro and their draft a lot. So, yeah, they played pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah, and I want to talk about your opponent in specifics because Chippy's... big Aurelia player, big Jax player. I know that you like him as a top laner as well. You've spoken pretty highly of him in the past, but, lots of Poppy this series. Did you find that strange that they were throwing him on the big sweep tanks?
Yeah, I mean, like, this is sort of my meta, like, I would say is, like, the tank meta. And going into this game, I was really expecting him to play, like, the Jace, like, really weird, just, like, damage, like, hard carry picks and, like, Sybil to play around him. Because that's what, like, their style is good at, because then they, like, use that into the 1-3-1 style. So when, like, he started picking Poppy, I was, like, really, really confused. And, like, still in game 2, I was thinking that he'd go to Jace. But, like, I think that's, like, their fault. And probably, like, maybe it could be, like, dependent on his confidence. Maybe he just wants to play Poppy just because, like, it's a standard pick right now. So, yeah, like, it was a bit surprising for me.
All right, cool. And now let's just talk about your play a little bit in specifics. I mean, you said it's your meta. You pulled out the Sion a couple of games. Like, is this the season? Like, if it stays tanks, are you just going to be able to continue to dominate? Are you really confident in your play at the moment?
I'd say, like, yeah, I've been putting in a lot of effort lately, and I've also been, like, tagging up a bit with Tally, who we've been working a lot together to, like, really improve on ourselves and, like, our macro play.
Sure, you didn't just say Legacy Tally. Like, what, Chiefs Legacy work together nowadays? Is that what's going
Me
on?
and Tally got a little duo going on. But nah, I'd say that right now, just because, like, Sion and even Shen, like, you'll be seeing that next week probably. But nah, it's definitely my meta, and I'd have to think that the other tops are a little bit afraid of that.
All right, well, congratulations on your first victory, even if it wasn't in the way that you thought it would be. However, guys, that is all from us for Game 1. Stick around, however, because we have XL5 and Tatum Mines coming up right after this break.
Gonna come in from the Transformer, looking for King, knocks him up, pops the Q as well, and absolutely destroys the Direwolves. Sybil trying to get into the back lines, but he's going to get locked down as well. The Dragon's there, the Scion's there, and he gets the double kill. And there, the Hammer gets slammed down, and a double kill comes out from King. Almost the triple as Swiper's recall gets cancelled as well. Chippy's still taking in the turret. He doesn't care too much. The Dragon's chasing him down, but the package is delivered as Fantix gets up into the top lane, and the Direwolves capitalize on a Baron throw from the Cheese. Destiny flashes over the wall. Fantix picks up that kill. No smite available for the Cheese. Here comes the Curtain Core. He's curved the bullet once before, but Fantix is on top of him. Puts the exhaust down, gets that proc for the Trinity Force. Egypt tries to go for the steal. He will get taken down, but he will steal the Baron as well. Only one member left for the side of the Chiefs. It's just Swiper, but it's still 4 kills coming up for the Direwolf. And Raze will get jumped on by Spooks, giving a little bit of extra help. Egypt's gonna fall. Fantix snipes him off in the back lines. Now Chippy's, he's got the fight. Destiny will fall. Swiper procs his Guardian's Angel. Fantix gets knocked back into the team. Spooks, 37 minutes in, he can play Elite Sin now. But King trying to do what he can against Swiper. Swiper falls. Now looking for Swiffer. The stun comes through. Spooks goes in, but King will still lift the tail. Chippy's still trying to chase him down, but Raze just does so much damage. It's a 1-on-1 to tell the world here, as he's going to get the wall slams down the Hammer. Oh my goodness, Chippy's gets the outplay.